fatal car crash in Vadodara in March this year. The law student was behind the wheels and was seen shouting another round in the viral post-crash video. He's now walked free. This after the Gujarat High Court has granted bail to the accused driver, Rakshit Chaurasia, on Monday, considering his plea that he had no prior criminal record and that he was a student who had already spent 9 months in jail. On the 13th of March this year, Chaurasia had rammed his speeding car into several motorcycles, crushing a woman to death and leaving 7 others injured. A video of this incident has gone viral on social media, showing how Rakshit was getting out of the car and shouting loudly on the road, "One more round." He drew widespread criticism on social media for this reckless behavior. Take a look at the video, which was shot immediately after the crash. Now, in its charge sheet, the police has stated that the accused was under the influence of drugs at the time of incident. Furthermore, investigation has revealed that the car was traveling at a speed of 140 kilometers per hour at the time of the accident. Bail has been granted on 3 conditions. Chaurasia will have to report to the police station every 15 days for the first 6 months, and then monthly thereafter. He can't leave the state without permission. He will also need to inform the investigating officer if there are changes in his address. The question, viewers, is this. A woman has lost their life and the deceased family is still in pain. Are the student background of the accused and him having spent 9 months in jail reasons good enough for the grant of bail?
See, in most of these kind of cases, the section that gets attracted is section 304A IPC, and there is an equivalent in the BNS. So if you closely look at this section, you will get to know that these are all bailable offences. And you can't keep the accused in custody, maybe police custody or judicial custody, in an offence which is bailable in nature. And I also understand that sometimes from the victim side it gets very, very devastating because they lose a family member and the accused walks out of police custody or judicial custody, because this section appears to be a bailable section.
Now, this case has put the spotlight once again on the numerous other fatal crashes involving luxury cars, where the rich who were seen behind their wheels ended up getting fast-track relief. Let's take a look at September 2025, the Delhi BMW accident. A finance ministry official is the one who you see on your screens there, died in this particular accident. That is the vehicle which was, of course, being driven. The accused driver, Gaganpreet Kaur, was granted bail. The court disapproved of actions of the ambulance driver. The court had said that time that the ambulance driver failed to help the victims. We've also seen how in the case of May 2024, the Pune car crash, initially the Juvenile Justice Board granted bail to the teen accused. The teenager was told to write a 300-word essay on road safety. After criticism, the teen was then sent to an observation home. In July 2025, we also saw the case of the Noida BMW crash. A 10-year-old man, his 5-year-old niece were the ones who were the unfortunate victims. The accused driver and co-passenger fled the spot. Both the accused got a bail a day after the arrest. In the case of March 2025, in the Noida Lamborghini crash case, a Lamborghini hit 2 pedestrians on a footpath. The accused driver, Deepak, got bail a day later. Let's quickly open this up and take it across to our guest now. With us is Purav Patel, husband of the deceased. We have also Ajit Kevlani, a survivor's father. Ashok Kumar, former DGP, is also with us on the panel. Joining us also is Subhash Jha, advocate, and Aditya Pratap is a lawyer, also joining us on the show. Let me begin first and foremost with Purav Patel. Purav Patel, when you heard the news of this young man getting bail, what was your reaction?
Literally in shock. बेल उसको मिलनी ही नहीं चाहिए. उसने जिस तरीके से हमको हिट किया हुआ है और हम अभी जो पीरियड से गुजर रहे हैं, वो हमारे लिए बहुत ही ट्रिमेंडसली मेंटली, फिजिकली सब बहुत बड़ा ट्रॉमा है सर. तो बेल तो मिलनी ही नहीं चाहिए.
What would you say to that, Subhash Jha? Family members of those who have lost their life, even those who've been injured, are absolutely enraged. Here is a one man who had no business being behind the wheels. He was under the influence. As the charge sheet itself says, he was yet driving at the speed of 140 kilometers an hour. And just like in other high-profile cases, he's also managed to walk out. Is this the sort of punishment that the victims deserve, the justice that the victims deserve?
emotions do run very high, as is in this case. Now, the gentleman here on the screen seems to have was involved in the accident in which one person, young girl, lost her life. But then please try to understand what the law is on the subject. Now, do you think that is a 23 years old boy having spent 9 months in jail? The Supreme Court, the High Court considered what the law which holds the field in the matter of grant of bail. And in the process quoted Sanjay Chandra, which lays down the law, and it considers the landmark judgment rendered by Justice Krishna Iyer, as he then was, saying that bail and not jail should be the criteria while deciding such applications. Please try to understand 9 months is too long a time. Now, the maximum period for which this boy, if at all, is convicted under Section 105, I see that is a culpable homicide, not amounting to murder is the charge, which provides for imprisonment for 10 years. Now, rest of the sections, it doesn't say, are not that very serious. And therefore, if 10 years is the punishment, 9 months of imprisonment has been undergone by a young boy. I'm not trying to justify that he was under the influence of drugs. Now, we have to address to the core issue.
Subhash Jha, I will just say this. We have seen enough VVIP brats in their expensive luxury cars mowing down and killing innocent citizens. I think the public has enough of it. The tempers are very high. So please don't do this lip service by saying that the maximum punishment is 10 years. Keeping him behind bars for 9 months is long enough. And let me bring in Ashok Kumar. Ashok Kumar, firstly, I don't believe that the law is so weak in India. I believe that the law is strong enough. If the police, the prosecution, the courts put their minds to it, they can ensure that there is a message sent out. Because otherwise, the message being sent out is it's okay. If you can use your luxury car to kill pedestrians, it's fine. You will walk a free man or woman. If you have the money, if you have the power. And the Pune Porsche case is perhaps the best example of that, of how brazenly the rich and powerful in this country try to meddle around with the prosecution system.
See, before BNS, we did not even have this punishment of 10 years. Accident and hit and run cases were almost the same. We used to apply 304 IPC for such heinous cases where you were under the influence of drugs. So it is the 10 years punishment, that is true. But again, the courts in India, this is the tragedy. For a police officer, I call it a tragedy, that they believe in this dictum that unless proved he is innocent. So this is the tragedy. They give bail even in cases of rape, even in cases of murder, and similarly this is also close to murder. So that is what they have been saying again and again in various judgments, that unless proved, unless the trial is complete, we cannot hold him completely guilty. That is the tragedy of the system, of the criminal justice system.
But let me bring in Aditya Pratap. Aditya Pratap, the question that many are not able to answer is this. And there are two of the victims. One is a survivor's family member. The other is, of course, the husband of the deceased lady who's on the panel. What will you tell them? 9 months is enough for such a person to walk out of jail after killing another citizen of India. Are some lives cheaper than the others? Just because they have money, they have power, they have influence, they have fancy cars, and they can buy rich lawyers and pay their fees, that they should be allowed to walk free?
Sir, let me begin with all due respect my learned professional colleague, Mr. Subhash Jha. I respectfully beg to differ, but just Costa is not a boy. He's a man. He is a man, an adult who has committed the crime. And number two, he has committed the crime in a red-handed manner. The entire thing was captured on video. Afterwards of the accident, him coming out of the car, then the drugs report and other things. Now, the first and foremost point is, a criminal case here is not to be seen as standalone. The purpose of criminal law is deterrence. The point is, okay, in an individual case, you will arrest him, put him behind bars. But the point is deterrence purpose being served? No. In fact, to the contrary, I believe grant of bail to this accused person after 9 months undermines the principle of deterrence. Yes, criminal jurisprudence in our nation is rich. There are all the judgments which say bail and no jail. But today, let me tell you, when just a few days back, my car is driving on the road and some speedsters, they literally swerved by my car. This shows that this culture, the speeding is becoming a cult. It's becoming a negative culture. And moreover, affluent people who have the latest supercars. They want to show their one-upmanship over the common man of society. They want to show that they're exclusive, and therefore, because what the law does not appreciate is that when a person in a super luxury car speeds brazenly on the road, he is showing utter disregard. He is showing narcissism. He is showing utter disregard.
One more round. Subhash Jha, can you believe it? He comes out and says one more round. That is the level of, the kind of impunity with which this man is functioning. After he has bumped his car, killed people, he's busy abusing. What kind of a person is this? And the lady who died, the person who died was also young. That life was snuffed out. That lady did not get an answer or a chance like this young man.
I'm in complete agreement with what other panelists are saying. This is not something which is to be justifiable. I'm not trying to justify his acts. It was a brazen act, and if at all he was, during the course of trial, he is convicted, he should be sentenced as whatever sentence which the law prescribes. And if it is proved during the course of trial that he could be punished under Section 105 of BNS, let him be sent to jail for 10 years. I'm not on that issue. But my point is, so far as the law on bail is concerned, it is very clear. Now, for example, I'll give you 2017, the Supreme Court rendered a judgment in the matter of Hussain versus Union of India. The Supreme Court laid down the timeline within which the trial has to be conducted. So far as the magisterial tribal cases are concerned, the Supreme Court fixes a time limit of 6 months. So far as the sessions trial are concerned, the time limit is 2 years. Now, what does it mean? The trial has to be concluded. If it is not concluded, this does violate Article 21 of the Constitution of India. And it makes delay in the process.
We look at those provisions and those timelines separately, Mr. Jha. The point is, why should a man like this be walking free on the roads? And I want that question to be answered by the survivor. Mr. Ajit Kevlani, long lectures we will receive on how the law says one thing, the act may be brazen, but this is the law of the country. We have to follow due process. So-and-so judgment is there. This provision is there. Aren't you tired of hearing such arguments?
Sir, अभी झा सर ने कहा कि 9 महीने उसको प्रिजनमेंट काफी लंबा है. अभी 7 लोगों ने 8-8 महीने, 7-7 महीने, 9-9 महीने ट्रीटमेंट चल रही है. मेरे 2 बच्चों की ट्रीटमेंट अभी भी चल रही है. तो उसका कैलकुलेशन 7 into 7 करो तो 49 4 years हो गया सिंगल लाइफ के हिसाब से. तो उसको 4 years के लिए तो रख दो अंदर जब तक वर्डिक आए.
जवाब दीजिए मिस्टर झा. रिस्पॉन्ड टू मिस्टर केवलानी, whose children have lost their lives and perhaps we don't know how long the treatment will take. Respond to him.
I'm responding to him. मेरी संवेदनाएं अजीत केवलानी के साथ में हैं, लेकिन आपको यह समझना पड़ेगा कि हो सकता है इस लड़के ने जिसने ये घृणित कार्य किया, उसके जगह पर अगर कोई आपका बच्चा या आप लोगों में से किसी के परिवार जन होता, तो क्या आप किसी प्रकार से उसको देखते?
Subhash Jha, I'm sorry, this is not by any yardstick or stretch of people's imagination how criminal jurisprudence works. If somebody commits a crime, they need to be punished. There has to be a... No, I'm sorry. This is not a banana republic where, you start... Where now criminals start saying that what if you were in my place and you committed a crime? What kind of logic is this, Mr. Jha?
Mr. Madhavdas.
He's violated the law. He has killed people.
Of course,
people are still getting treatment.
I'm not saying that he's not to be punished.
Sir, if he is driving under the influence of drugs, then he has to take account for it.
Court has, of course, yes. The court has granted him bail. He will be eventually tried, and if he is found guilty, he may be sentenced to jail as well.
And just like the court has granted bail in its wisdom, the people of this country and the survivors and the family members of the deceased have every right to question that decision of the court. The Constitution of India guarantees them the free speech to question that court. Please remember that. Let me bring in Mr. Puro Patel once again. Puro Patel wants to respond to you. Please. He is the husband of the deceased. Listen to him.
सर, मेरी पूरी लाइफ चेंज हो गई है ये इंसिडेंट के बाद. मेरी वाइफ एमी सिविल स्ट्रक्चर थी, उसका कितना सारा एम्बिशियस था कि आगे जाके प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में आगे बढ़ेंगे, हमारा फैमिली हैप्पी रहेगा. आई एम ऑल्सो एन इंजीनियर, मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर, बट अभी फिजिकली, मेंटली सभी तरीके से हम पूरा ब्रेक हो चुके हैं. तो अगर जस्टिस ऑन टाइम नहीं होता है तो बेल भी ऑन टाइम नहीं होना चाहिए। मेरा इतना ही कहना है।
Mr. Kevlani, what would you like to say to this argument that the court has given bail?
बेल नहीं होना चाहिए था, जब तक वर्डिक्ट नहीं आए बेल नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि बच्चे 7 लोग में से आज भी 5 लोग 6 लोग सफर कर रहे हैं बाकी के। सर अभी ये सर ने बोला 9 महीने काफी होते हैं, तो सर 2 बच्चे मेरे आज भी चलने योग्य नहीं हुए हैं। यदि उनके 9 दो गिरो तो 18 महीने इसको अकेले को पकड़ो और बाकी के 5 लोग कहां जाएंगे, उसका कैलकुलेशन करो। मोर देन 4 इयर्स सिंगुलर लाइफ हो जाती है, तो उसका कैलकुलेशन कैसे लगा रहे हैं ये सर?
Ashok Kumar, what would your advice would be to those who have lost their near and dear ones, those whose near and dear ones' lives have been, completely altered? And as Mr. Kevlani is saying, even those who have survived, they're not even in a position to walk. Imagine their anger when they see this young man walking out of jail on bail. Imagine their anger, sir.
As a police officer, I would advocate that the trial should be done at the earliest. In India, trial is limitless, But the new courts, BNS and other 3 courts, they do say that trial should be time bound. But I know, I appeared for a witness 20 years after the case. I arrested someone in corruption and I appeared in the court as a witness after 20 years. So that is the tragedy of the system, that trials are taking so much time. If trial could be fast, speeded up, why not 3-4 months? It's a simple, straight case. Proofs are already there. So as a police officer, this should not happen. It's kind of based, but as I told you in my first version also, this is a tragedy that courts give bail even in clear murder cases, rape cases, saying that the trial will take time and unless he is tried, we cannot keep him for long. So this is a very wrong interpretation of law. I do solidly say this point, that trial should be at the earliest. Bail should not be granted before the trials in such heinous cases.
Absolutely. And
no provision for bail.
Aditya Pratap, you can come in on this, because even when there are heinous cases like Nirbhaya, where the entire process, process itself becomes a punishment. When a high-profile case like this, there are all sorts of avenues that the accused will try to exploit to delay justice in the matter. And the Indian legal system is ripe for that, because at every avenue, they get a chance to actually delay. Perhaps if there is a speedy trial, it will bring some closure of justice to those who have lost their near and dear ones.
Well, let me give a very practical answer. Earlier, yes, we have heard of trial delays, but today, the prosecution abilities are vastly better. Today, in fact, trials are expedited. Let me tell you, just a few days back, I was in Sessions Court, Pune, waiting for my case. And before me, the case of one of the accused in the Pune hit and run was going on. The accused was trying to press his bail application. The learned public prosecutor saying, why bail? Let's begin the trial. He is telling the lawyer for the accused, let's begin the trial and conclude it. Today, in fact, in such cases where the evidence is on video, open and shut case, today public prosecutors are more than willing. Let's complete the trial in 6 months or whatever time it is. So the argument that a trial is going to take several years, it has not happened. Let me tell you, today it's an officer of the court. I practice in both civil cases and criminal cases. Judges are sitting to give you justice. Today, learned judges don't like adjournment culture. You file a writ petition, Honorable High Court. High Court in one hearing makes up its mind whether cases go on or not. Likewise, pre-trial, yes, it takes some time, filing of discharge and other things. But once the trial actually commences, then dates are quite frequent. My learned colleague, Mr. Subhash Jha, would also agree on this point.
Well, all eyes will be on the prosecution, what they will do. My closing comments I'm going to give to Purav, who has started this debate, because Purav, you're the person who has lost the most in this entire incident. Your entire world would have changed after you lost your wife. What is your appeal to the authorities? Would you also appeal that there be a speedy trial? जल्द से जल्द न्याय हो उस पूरे केस में?
Yes, sir.
Tell us, what would you tell the authorities? आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
बस अब अथॉरिटी को यही कहना है कि जल्द से जल्द उसको जो इंडियन लॉ के हिसाब से सजा होनी चाहिए वो होनी चाहिए और इसकी बेल अभी के अभी कैंसिल होनी चाहिए.
All right, bail should be cancelled. That's the clear demand going in from the family members who've lost their near and dear ones. We certainly hope that the police in the state are looking and the justice will be done, because a very wrong precedent is repeatedly being set by different state police in different systems, where those who are rich and powerful are able to game the system and get out of jail easily. Can that be allowed? We leave it to the judgment of our viewers. Purav Patel, Ajit Kevlani, Ashok Kumar, Subhash Jha, Aditya Pratap, thanks so much for joining us this evening.